2017 has seen a great slew of high-end smartphones being released, from the bezel-less S8 and the LG G6 to Sony's XZ Premium with its 4K HDR display. And let's not forget the HTC U11 and the upcoming iPhone. But the problem with all these phones are that they are super expensive, and not everyone wants the latest and greatest in CPU speeds and crazy high-res displays. Some customers want a slightly cheaper option, and that brings us to the mid-range phone market. Mid-range devices are no longer the small, plasticky and underpowered devices which we got a few years back. Brands like Oppo, Vivo and Motorola have stepped up their game by providing phones with great build quality and many other amazing features. So, is the XA1 a good contender then? Let's find out. Well, if I take design and build quality into consideration, the XA1 in no way feels like a budget smartphone. It adopts a sharper, edged look when compared to the rounded corners of the XA. The all-round metal finish, while not as flashy and premium as the glass surfaces found on the more expensive Xperias, feels solid and gives you confidence that when the phone is dropped, it won't at least shatter into pieces. One-handed operations are easy due to its small form factor and the borderless design. The phone looks like almost any Xperia we have seen before, which means the design is elegant but a bit too familiar. The large bezels on the top and bottom could have been reduced, but it doesn't really cause a major inconvenience since the phone is quite compact. All physical keys have a nice tactile feel and are easily reachable. There are some things I don't like about the ergonomics, such as the placement of the headphone jack on the top, which means that the headphone wire will come and obstruct the screen time after time, and the location of the speaker at the bottom. The grills in the front, I presume, are just the earpiece and microphone because there was absolutely no sound being emitted out of those two. Nevertheless, the speaker isn't that bad and is sufficiently loud. Sony has done some cost cutting with the 5-inch display, as it has a resolution of 1280 by 720, and by today's standards it is second rate even for a phone at this price range. Other budget phones like the Moto G5 and the Samsung Galaxy J7 Prime come with a 1080p display. However, in its defense, I would say that the screen looks quite vibrant and clear, and you only see the dip in quality when you place it next to any other phone with higher resolution. It's actually quite impressive what Sony has been able to achieve with a low-res display. The screen is adequately bright, though obviously not as bright as OLED displays, but I didn't have any problem using this phone on a bright day, and viewing angles are good. The camera comes with a 23MP rear and 8MP front camera, with both having apertures of f2.0. I'm really pleased that after all these years, Sony hasn't omitted the shutter button. It makes it really convenient to have a dedicated key to capture shots and even to launch the camera app. Shots taken on the XA1 were actually quite good. Autofocus is pretty quick and it rarely stutters. Some sections of a shot seem overexposed in bright daylight, but it's not too bad. Pictures taken indoors and in darker conditions can appear a bit fuzzy though. You can make some adjustments with your photo taking experience by switching to manual mode, where you can tinker with the white balance, exposure, shutter speed and focal distance. One of the irritations in the camera UI is that there are two separate modes for photo and video, instead of having a record and capture button placed side by side, which would have made it faster to capture either a video or a photo of a fast moving object or a sudden event. Video quality tops out at 1080p at 30 frames per second, and even with steady shot switched on, the video seemed a bit jittery. Finally, you have some camera apps such as AR, time shift burst, creative mode, etc. Selfie shots have a wide angle view, and as long as there is ample amount of light, the camera will be able to track you and you get a nice wide and clear photo. Just like the rear camera, you get a manual mode to make some adjustments to your selfies. The same philosophy is carried on to the video side, which records at Full HD Max. The XA1 is equipped with a MediaTek Helio P20 processor, which supports a clock speed of up to 2.3 GHz compared to the 2 GHz on the Snapdragon 625, which you will find in devices like the Moto G5 Plus. It also comes with 3GB of RAM and 32GB of expandable storage. And thankfully, it doesn't matter if you have one SIM or two SIMs in this phone, there is an extra slot for a microSD card. The device is surprisingly nippy and handles games with heavy graphics fairly easily, though it does warm up a bit during some sessions, but it's not too uncomfortable. Jumping from app to app is seamless thanks to the Sony UI running Android 7.0. The UI overall hasn't changed much. You get themes to customize the look of the device. The icons should have had a more consistent shape. Having a Sony UI means that you get Sony's traditional apps such as Track ID, PlayStation, Sketch, Movie Creator and many more. And there is an app you don't quite see in phones anymore, an FM radio. Sony's UI has this oddity where the folders you made in the app drawer disappear when you sort the apps alphabetically. When you compare it to, let's say, Samsung's UI, which by the way is running Nougat as well, you don't face that issue. However, just like Samsung software and in fact majority of custom Android skins from various manufacturers, updates are going to be slow. 2300 mAh doesn't sound like much, but surprisingly the phone did run the whole day with 30 to 40% of battery to spare at the end of the day. You can switch to stamina mode or ultra stamina mode to extend your battery life. The former reduces device performance while the latter restricts the usage of apps that make use of Wi-Fi or mobile data. Most of my activity included playing games, watching videos, surfing the net and much more while the Wi-Fi was switched on the whole time and the screen brightness set to 50%. This has been achieved with the power efficient MediaTek processor. You wouldn't have to worry about your phone dying out completely before the end of the day. The XA1 comes with a Type-C port and is quick charge compatible, or at least that's what the website claims, because the adapter provided doesn't seem to be a fast charger. My phone took nearly 2 hours to get fully juiced up from 5%. Also, I wish it had a countdown of some sort to show how much time it will take to fully charge the phone. The XA1 is probably Sony's best mid-range device yet, with good battery life, respectable camera and premium build quality and design. However, the Moto G5 Plus, for instance, has a better display, comes with a fingerprint reader and gets regular updates due to its almost stock Android experience. Overall, I will say that the XA1 is a good mid-range phone, but surely not the best. It needs some improvements to beat out its rivals and stay ahead of the game. So, what do you think of the Xperia XA1? Comment below, like this video if you liked it and subscribe to my channel. I will see you in the next video.